JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
It's one of the biggest and most technical racetracks with unique characteristics and the longest straightaway in North America. Live here tonight from the Tricky Triangle, it's going to be race number 5 of the season, approaching the halfway mark. Some drivers outside looking in, with others consistently in the top 10. Live here tonight for VRX World Cup, it's Pocono, race number 5 in the VRX Esports World Cup Series, presented by Moza Racing. butt kicker, Pimax, and superior performance. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Joined alongside me here, Connor Horn. Connor, we've watched broadcasts here on V-Speed before at POCONO, but what's in store for us with this ARCA car? It's going to be even more difficult.
Yeah, this ARCA car, I mean, we don't really quite know what to expect with a lot, because a lot of these tracks we haven't seen the ARCA car perform at all, but this is a car that is sneaky fast. I mean, you think ARCA, you think the fourth division of stock car racing really in the country, and while that is the case, you would think that it's the fourth division, so it's not going to be that fast. It's not really true. We might see these drivers get over 190 miles an hour down to Long Pond straightaway, down into the tunnel turn, which is going to be a very dangerous place. That tunnel turn is going to be ruthless. You're going to see cars pretty packed up. The dirty air, especially in turns 2 and 3, should really affect these cars, but I still think you'll see draft be very important today. The ARCA cars, we know the draft models, the draft is pretty strong, but the dirty air might be even stronger. So I think these restarts, they're kind of going to be crazy. It's going to be very important to get your track position into turn 1 and before you get to that tunnel turn. If you go into a tunnel turn 2 wide, let alone 3 wide or worse, I've heard of the horror stories of 4 wide into the tunnel turn. Even 2 wide doesn't work. I don't want to double that, but it should be interesting. I think the restart's going to be huge.
Take a look at the points here. Brian Henning's the most consistent driver in the top 10 this season. He's kept that string alive, and another podium finish there last week. Philip Willis, 8 points behind with 2 victories now after last week. And you take a look back here to Ed Fiedler, all the way down to Doug Helfer. These are the drivers that are outside looking in. If you want to get in that prize pool, you got to get up there in that top 6. So a lot of drivers outside looking in, and you go down there to Kevin Mulcahy to round out this field. But it's been unique in a lot of situations. We've had different drivers up towards the front, but the consistency from Brian Hennings, will that stay alive?
I will just have to wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. He's been definitely, I think, the most consistent of the entire season. We thought he was going to run away with Iowa. It wasn't the case, but he still got a strong second-place finish. That's why he's up there in the points. An 8-point lead after 4 races ain't too bad. Philip Willis with that win a week ago still right there. I think the consistency continues. I don't know if he gets another top 5, but he'll be up there at contention to the end, I think, no doubt.
And it's going to be straight-up points for this whole scenario. But what's also straight up is the grid here tonight. Starting on the top spot, Philip Willis with a 54.182. Brian Hennings, points leader, 1 and 2 in points, 1 and 2 on the racetrack. Hennings to the outside. Row number 2 is going to belong to Mike Howerton. Dane Shivers will start in 4th position. Jason Lyon will start in 5th spot. Then you go back to John Hudson in the 6th position. The 7th spot with Christian Key. Kelly Walton starting in 8th. 9th goes to Julian Conde. Benjamin Richards will start in your top 10.
11th position, looks like that's going to be Doug Helfer, the number 64, one of the Chevrolets. Dan Charles, who's pretty high up in the points, will start in the 12th position. 13th position behind the 64 and the 96. Edward Fiedler, that Napa Auto Parts Toyota Camry, alongside Mike Shivers in that 5 car in a Ford Mustang, which we don't really see a lot of Toyotas, but we do see a decent amount of Mustangs. Chase Rockford, a 71 car, starting 15th. Anthony Edrington, another Chevy, starting 16th. 17th position, 2 drivers in the 70s, the car number behind them. 17th position, Renee Hash, the 38, another Chevy. Wade Palmer, the 4th, who's been in some hot water and in some incidents this season. He'll start back in the 18th position with a poor qualifying run. The 19th position, rounding out that top 20, right behind Renee Hash, Teresa Spiker in 19th, David Collins, 707 20.
So we're going to set to the grid here, but we're going to take a moment to honor Greg Spiker and Teresa Spiker and their family. And you see there, the 10th position is opened up. It was a 1,000-mile train ride from Maryland to heaven. In the witness of the family you created, the new destination of life you have built. She knew her purpose for you had been completed the moment she stepped into the dream you had always talked about. While it may have seemed more than 1,000,000 miles away, know the whole time she is with you in your heart. Green flag out here. at Pocono. Lap number 1 led by Philip Willis. Brian Hennings close behind. It's going to get aerotight here, Connor. It's going to be difficult to hold on to this thing.
It'll be difficult to not get into the outside wall that we got a good view of out of turn number 1 right there. Already the car rear front bumper damaged way at the back, but everyone's still going. Much cleaner first lap than I anticipated. Everyone got pretty started out pretty quick.
Watching that lead kind of stretch out. That dirty air probably playing a factor. You see Mike Howerton just behind the 74 of Brian Hennings as we come off of the corner. A tunnel turn and turn 3. Those are the parts of the racetrack where you can make a lot of time. If you get turn 2 down and set up the exit of turn 3, you can make up so much time. This draft down the front stretch, it pays dividends.
And even down the Long Pond straightaway, down, I guess you could call it the back straightaway into a tunnel turn. If you can get a run out of turn number 1, I think it's even more important in certain ways. You just have a lot more draft to work with. But the drawback to that is that you have a much tighter corner than you do if you're entering 1 compared to entering turn 2. You cannot really go through here too wide. You're better off biding your time or just aero packing the guy in front of you. But you are going to likely lose time if you're right on the back of someone.
Still watching this battle for the top 5. Jason Lyon in the 4th position. Single file pretty much all the way around this racetrack, but it is tight up here. 1st through 5th.
Very, very tight. Drivers are the ones kind of getting away, kind of setting the pace. And most of the time, when you're setting a pace and getting away, kind of like what you would do at a super speedway, if you're pulling away, you almost don't want to pull out of line and make that pass and slow your line down, as it looks like we got a caution somewhere in the background. Not see who. Looks like we're under caution. Looks like I believe we're under caution. I cannot join the session myself, but definitely everyone pacing around. Get a restart at some point. Probably won't see anyone hit. If you guys can't hear Bradley, we're going to have to go to commercial break, sort things out. Lap 4, could not see what the caution was for as we're working lap 5 under the first caution flag of this 45-lap race. We're getting some short messages from our partners. We'll be right back.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
I guess I will go ahead. We do not have Bradley Cooper at the time, for the time being, I should say. Ooh, my iRacing is being a little bit weird personally, but looks like we're getting ready to go green. Did not quite see what the caution was for.
Hey, I'm back.
Apologize for that.
There I am.
Ah, we have Bradley. It's a two-person thing now.
All right, so we're back here at Pocono, lap 7. We had a caution there, and looking through the session events, it looked like Ed Fiedler out of the race had to tow to pit road on lap number 6. So problems for him, but we're getting stacked back up, ready to go green, and I got everything working again. I had to unplug everything and accidentally unplug things that I shouldn't unplug. All kinds of things just happened, but we're back ready to go.
Edward Fiedler is still on the track. He does have damage. Maybe he was part of the caution, but he is still racing.
Well, here we go. Back green, lap number 8 with Philip Willis. Tricky triangle into turn 1. It's Willis, Jason Lyon, John Hudson. Into the corner, the 12 car has the drive down to the bottom, keeping it on that yellow line. John Hudson, and some side-by-side back here with Mike Shivers and Brian Hennings.
I thought these restarts would be more packed up, but by the time they get to turn 1, the dirty air seems to be already hurting, and I think these drivers are just giving each other a lot of room in turn 1 as well, so you get that spread out kind of action before you even get to Long Pond straightaway. Big moment. David Collins lost a lot of ground. Hennings in the background, 3 wide. He might have came down to pit road being all the way back here, maybe topped off for fuel. He's having to fight his way back through the field a little bit.
He did top off with fuel. Actually took 4 tires, whether that was by accident or not. Unlimited sets of tires, I don't blame him. So he's worked his way up, and with that 2 or 3 lap stint there under green, that'll be a little advantageous. But look at the lap times, 53.8 in the draft. You're running about a 54 flat by yourself. I think these drivers right now are just trying to find the happy medium between that offset and that right front tire burning off.
It's a really tough track for tire wear. You might not think that because of how big it is, but the tunnel turn number 3, very flat corners. That's where you're going to have the most stress on that right front tire and really be wearing it out. So it's almost a reason why. I wouldn't say it is the reason because I don't know for sure, but shifting down into 3rd gear in the old style Gen 6 Cup cars would have been the move. Gearing isn't quite the same in these ARCA cars, obviously, so you're not shifting. You're in 4th gear the entire time. You can kind of do a few things here and there to try to kick the right rear out more than the right front. A lot more rear brake would help. Kind of entering high, exiting low might get the right front or the right rear kind of kicked out, but you still run the risk of burning the right rear doing that. So the best thing you could do is lower rear brake and just hope to God you can get on the brakes and not spin it into the corner.
You see there, Hennings using the draft, pushing the 96 of Dan Charles down the front straightaway. Then on to Long Pond. A little bit of an early taper. And that's where, a lot of drivers get deceived. They get that extra draft. They get that run down these long straightaways. They overshoot their entry to the corner. And that's what you have to be careful not to do. Is backing up these entries and setting yourself up in traffic. Oh, contact. Wow.
Oh, they're still hitting.
Oh, the 96 of Charles was crowding Hennings, and he said no.
I don't know. Dan Charles almost turned the 818 down the front straightaway. Then he tried to get up and got up in front of Brian Hennings. And here comes the crossover. Hennings now losing some ground of those top 4. That could have been a bigger crash. What I was saying, turn 3, it's very difficult to get that corner correct. It's so hard to back up that corner when it's such a wide corner. I mean, you think you could just go in there and fire it in and wrap that corner, but it's just quite not how turn 3 works. You need to enter a little higher and exit towards the curbing or the rumble strips down the bottom. There's that first contact, and then he comes back up right into the 74. That could have been bad.
I don't know if Hennings necessarily said no, but he definitely let that car know. And they're in the wall coming off of turn 3 in the live shot. Hennings got passed back by the 96. Now a push down the front stretch. 51 followed the 74. A lot of wall action on that safer barrier.
And 96 hit the wall out of turn 3, and poor Mike Howardson kind of followed him up into it a little further back. Mike Chivers, I don't think, did as well. As I think Dan Charles is just going to let Brian Hennings by. I don't think he wants to necessarily fight the 74, but gotten single-filed out, minus this battle. That battle for 5th should be over, but we'll have to wait and see. Battle for the lead kind of there. It's actually more of a battle for 2nd because Jason Lyon didn't get through the tunnel turn as well as John Hudson did.
So I know that I'm a little bit louder than usual here tonight. I'm going to try to adjust that. We had some playback and audio issues, Stream Deck issues, and whatever other issues you could find. I think what it probably boils down to is I'm the last of the 1% using Windows 10 at this point, and of course I'm going to have problems.
Benjamin Richard hit the wall out of turn 3. It's another part of turn 3. It's actually pretty easy to hit the wall because of how flat of a corner it is. You think you're good, then bam, you're on the outside wall before you know it. So that's something these drivers are going to have to deal with as well. As you can see, the right front pretty hurt as battle for the lead. Jason Lyon looked to be inside of Philip Willis into the tunnel turn. That is a tough spot to make it work. Kelly Walton almost hit the wall in the background battling Hennings, but Willis keeps the spot.
Putting the pressure on. Here comes Hudson into turn 3. Down to the inside of the 12 car.
That's the issue. It's so hard to make that pass in a tunnel turn. If you don't make that pass, you're leaving yourself vulnerable for at least 1 or 2 drivers to try to make a move on you into turn 3, and then you're vulnerable for the straightaway because you're not going to get that run. And look at the run Kelly Walton had. It ended up lifting out of it, but had maybe 5 miles an hour of pace over the 3 car there.
And I got the opportunity to do a practice race with these drivers at Pocono just a couple hours prior to this session, and there was a lot of talk about knowing the break points of the drivers in front of you and kind of predicting and running behind them for a little bit to gauge where they're letting off, where their line is, because you've got 23 cars out here, Connor. Everybody's going to drive this place differently, and you have 3 opportunities to mess it up.
Yeah, I get worried when you're seeing like 3 or 4 cars bumper to bumper like you're seeing, because you never know when that person at the front's going to lift, then that person second in line's got to react, and then so on and so forth. It can cause a pretty bad chain reaction. I've seen it happen at Indianapolis, another track with pretty long straightaways. And speaking of Indianapolis, you kind of see that draft breaking, John Hudson kind of doing a little bit of blocking. I would do that when you're the leader, not when you're third, but just trying to shake the 818 off of the back of them so he can catch those top 2 again, because they've kind of gotten away.
This is on board with Dan Charles. Remember, Charles was up there racing for the top 5. They were back and forth there with Brian Hennings just a moment ago. But now it's lift off the throttle and try to conserve the tires as the top 5 have checked out.
I'm honestly surprised to see how much of the apron some of the drivers are using in a tunnel turn. I would think that would shoot you right into the outside wall hard, but if you could just get your left sides on it and skate across it, get the car a little bit off balance, it's kind of working. At least I saw it working for the 33.
Comes off the back of John Hudson. Hennings trying to move to the inside, didn't work out. Leaves himself open to Kelly Walton in the 818. Now it's a matter of trail break into turn 1. 193 miles per hour is how fast they're going down this front stretch, and we're looking for some 3 wide here.
And it is tough to make a pass at Pocono. If you don't clear the driver on the inside, you're going to lose a lot of time if you're not in the draft. But you see Hennings got a little bit of a draft, a little bit of a side draft actually, into a tunnel turn, and Kelly Walton no choice but to back out and give the 74 the spot. So Hennings back up to that 4th position. Mike Howerton's joined this fight. These top 5 or 6 have pulled away from the other, I would say, packs in this race right now.
Hennings works his way up to 4th, gets around both the 818, 51, who was trying to get to the inside. But again, this is 2.5 seconds back to Christian Key in the 97. It looks like an eternity right now.
It feels like an eternity. If you're not in that draft, it feels crazy completely. I mean, it feels almost impossible to get back up there. Wow, Mike Howardson made a good pass for 5th place there, but as we say, draft is important. If you don't get that yellow, it's going to be hard for Christian Key to catch up unless those guys slow each other down, or if he short pits, 2 tires, whatever. It's going to be hard to catch those top 6, really any of them. He's in his own pack. He has no draft in front of him, and he's not really getting the push from behind. He's just getting a whole lot of
Ooh.
pressure, and he really hit the wall there. Had a bad tunnel turn. Now Dan Charles is going to take that spot.
Well, I made mention that I ran in a practice race earlier with these guys. I feel like my face looked exactly the same in the moment that I was in. I had raced up in the top 3 the whole time, Connor, and drivers that were in the lead took pit road a lap before me. I didn't get as good of an entry and exit on pit road. I lost the draft, and I was 3.9 seconds back. I drove my heart out for 20 laps and was still a second short of the leader. You lose the draft, it's over.
Oh, caution, caution, crash. Benjamin Richards, turn 1. Teresa Spiker, I think, involved as well, and there's our second caution, and this time we actually see what it's for.
Was that a cheap little jab at my computer malfunction?
No, it's a jab at us because I didn't see it either. Wow, Benjamin Richards got punted by Teresa Spiker. Wow. That was actually not as bad as it... That actually wasn't as bad as it initially looked. It was just a 360 keep on going, but a little deep into the corner for the 25.
I mean, she set her corner up. I think she was going to make that corner.
It looked like she was going to end up drifting up to the second lane, but it honestly wasn't as bad as it looks. It's just that pack checked up. Benjamin Richards probably checked up a little bit for them because they were racing hard. That was pretty crazy.
So Teresa Spiker contact with Benjamin Richards back here around the 21st, 20th position. And that's going to bring us under caution here around the halfway mark. Philip Willis has led 18 of the 19 laps we are on. 18 of the 18 we've completed here from Pocono. Looking for his 3rd victory and trying to make up that points deficit with this guy just 2 positions behind Brian Hennings in the 3rd spot. Mike Howerton, John Hudson, the top 5.
Should probably see everyone come down for 4 tires and fuel. I'm not sure exactly what the fuel will be from here. We'll probably restart with 24 laps to go, so a little past halfway in the full race length. So it'll be a little bit close on fuel, and we'll have to wait and see. Might even see drivers at the back top off on fuel.
Well, with this opportunity and unlimited tire sets, we've now got 13 to 19 laps on the stint. I'm coming down, Connor. I don't know about you, but I would come in. There's about a second and a half of fall off at a full fuel run here. I'm coming in for 4 freshies.
Yeah, 53.8. Well, really, let's say 53.9 was Philip Willis's fastest lap. Previous full lap, he was about 0.8 of a second off. And from his very fastest lap, it's about a full second. So the fall off's definitely there. But they weren't too far away from pitting. They probably needed to go 3 to 4 more laps, and they were going to make it on 1 more stop.
Well, that brings us down pit lane as you see everyone hitting their stalls. Philip Willis with the right-hand side up on this car and centered up in his strategic position. Can he win the race off of pit road? The 5 in the background. Here comes the 96, the 12, the 74. Philip Willis going to maintain the lead. Brian Hennings picks up a position. It's Jared Conley staying out on the racetrack. Jerry Conley, rather. 14 laps on the stint for the 22 as we complete our first round for the entire field. So the 22 either missed pit road or he is electing to stay out. But either way, with 0.8 of fall off here, Connor, I feel like he's a sitting duck.
He's thanking his sponsors at the moment. So he's getting the TV time he wanted in this Camry. Like I said, one of the few Camrys in the field. He's in a Camry. Dan Charles is in a Camry. And then Julian Conde. So that's 3 in the 4 in the field, including Fiedler. So you only have 4 of the 23 drivers in Camrys. And Toyota, I don't know if it's just because it's a NASCAR thing. No one likes Toyota, but it just seems like no one ever drives a Toyota, it seems. And it's a lot of Chevrolets and Fords. But he's leading the race. We'll see how this works. Like you said, I don't think this strategy works out, especially if everyone can make it to the end on fuel from here that just pit. It definitely won't work.
Well, Connor, maybe you can confirm this information, but I got word that the O'Reilly's Xfinity Series, whatever you want to call it, O'Reilly's B-Class, is going to be Chevrolets and Toyotas next season. No one went with Ford. Is that correct?
There is maybe one real-life O'Reilly Series team that will run Ford, and it's the one Harrison Burton was driving, and now I don't know who's driving it this year, but yeah, you had Sieg's team are now Chevrolets. You had the other Ford teams. Haas is now Chevrolet. So yeah, there's like one Ford team out of what'll probably be like 30 full-time teams.
I mean, that's kind of contradictory to what you said about the Toyotas. I mean, the world's...
I'm talking iRacing. I am talking iRacing.
I'm just saying, with the whole scheme of things, everybody here might not like Toyota, but they're here to stay.
I mean, they're definitely to stay. It's been over 20 years.
Yeah, it's over a decade.
They joined the Truck Series in like 2004. Then the others, they got the Cup in 07. I mean, let it go.
Yeah,
they're not going anywhere. They'd probably dump the most money into the sport at this point. They're very supportive of NASCAR.
But they'll burn it down if Honda joins. All right, Jared Conley, first position. Philip Willis, Brian Hennings, Mike Howerton, Jason Lyon. Then you have John Hudson, Dan Charles, Christian Key, Mike Shivers, and Dane Shivers. 9th and 10th position. Remember that little back and forth last week in Iowa. He's going to get the best of those two this week. We get set back up at the Tricky Triangle. Lap 22 about to be underway. Wasn't by mistake. The 22 stayed out on the racetrack, committed to leading this race. 8/10 of fall off. We'll see how it pans out. Philip Willis has led every lap prior to this moment. Into the restart zone. Here we go, back live at Pocono. Wheels spin in the background. Rockford sideways.
No caution. He's going to come to a stop, but there's going to be no caution. 22 pulls aside. He just wanted to get the sponsors on TV, so that puts Brian Hennings in a prime position to take the race lead away.
Hennings set up perfectly into turn one, but can he hold it? Contact behind that with Lyon and Howerton coming off of turn one.
Oh, Howerton
into the wall.
Yeah, Howerton got squeezed into a wall out of the corner. Looked like Jason Lyon, the 12, just kind of crowded him, and now 51. Big damage. Oh, big crash.
And Howerton gets even more.
Bad spot for a crash to happen. David Collins involved.
And on this restart on lap 22, we raced the first 18 green. Collins. It's on him this week. Who got collinated on this replay?
Yeah, it starts in turn one. It started with the 51 getting pinched in the wall a little bit by Jason Lyon. Couldn't tell if there was neck goat or not, but he's really slow in the main line. All these drivers, Doug Helfer on the bottom, just trying to avoid him, get by him, and Helfer just comes up and chops the nose of the 707. And poor Mike Howerton had nothing to do with that second incident. He just gets caught up because of him being slow and because of the damage, really.
And that wasn't getting collinated. That was Helfer coming up the racetrack. I mean,
that's the second time this season since someone got collinated. But yeah, just up the racetrack, not clear, and gives himself maybe the worst of it. Not sure.
Well, it's one of those running jokes that's been around for a while, but I'm starting to think that maybe the other guys, I think it's a myth. Some of these other guys have been moving into the 707, and he's been pleading his case ever since they gave him the nickname, the Collinator. I think he's right. I mean, he was just there. I mean, there's no other way around it.
We also had that crash. We did not get the yellow for the crash on the front straightaway, but that just looked like not sure if that was for a stack up or someone missed a shift or a wheel spin, but it was Anthony Edrington who wound up in the inside wall hard.
I'm noticing a right rear tire is not where it's supposed to be on that car. So let me see if I can go back to this restart.
Right rear? I don't know. That might be left side. I'm not sure. It's off kilter. I'll leave it at that.
Everything is not where it's supposed to be.
It's that left, definitely the left rear. That left rear got pounded. That's going to be hard to repair, and he probably won't be able to compete and get that all repaired.
So what happened here? Pace car pulls off.
I tell you what, he's pretty far back, and then they kind of check up there, and he just gets hit in the back. It looks like a few drivers at the back came in to top off, but no one else. But overhead shot, I think, would do wonders. See how far back he ends up. 64. I mean, they're just not
There's a huge
really
gap,
formed up at the back, and you're going to have checkups when you have guys laying back, then kind of going, then they have to stop because, wait, they're not going. It's going to happen every time. Very spread out. Even the outside lane. The outside lane was arguably worse.
Yeah, and it starts there around the 22 to 96 with that initial checkup. We'll go back and watch this one more time.
I think Chase Rockford is the one who hits Edgerton, the 71. You could argue, I mean, 22 might have gone late, but he had every right to do that. He went in the it's either the restart zone or the green flag. It's one or the other. You could choose to wait for the green flag.
I mean, drivers behind jumping it. They're not tight in the back.
You're always going to have drivers trying to anticipate it. You just can't get that out of racing. But yeah, definitely a case where they even said it on the radio, at least the admin team, I believe, did, where they got to be a little more formed up than that.
That brings us to another caution here on the race recap. 3 cautions, 2 lead changes, and one of those because the driver stayed out very early.
Poor Philip Willis. He wanted to lead every lap.
Yeah. I mean, dominant performance so far for the 33 car. But Brian Hennings, Jason Lyon, they haven't had that opportunity of full fuel run. And we know that 75% fuel puts them in a window of making it about 25 laps here. So they're going to be just short of that based off of the stint for some of these drivers. Then you have other drivers that have came in and topped off. And, you know, from 16th of Ed Fiedler all the way back to Doug Helper, who's still getting some damage repaired. These drivers can make it to the end of this race. But you got 19 on the stint for the 22 car. I would have pulled this car down pit road at this point. I think you've made your point. But you go back to around Teresa Spiker, who's 5 laps on the stint on up. They're going to be just short on fuel.
Unless you save a lot of fuel. And this is a track you can kind of save a lot of fuel, but the thing is you have to save, a lap here is what? 2.5 miles. If you're a lap short, you have to save 2.5 miles worth of fuel. You double that, 5 miles, 2 laps. It's very tough. It's weird because it's easy to save fuel. You have a lot of straightaways. You can coast into a corner very easily, but you have to save so much at a track this big. It feels impossible at times. But I wouldn't be surprised if you have drivers kind of sitting in the draft, maybe letting other drivers lead. Possibly that could be a factor. Also, Wade Palmer, who's the first driver. He's the first driver on some tires who topped off. He took 2 tires. Fiedler took none. He just topped off. 43 to take 2. But they're pretty far back there.
Well, and also, Connor, if you run out at a 2.5 mile racetrack, you're not coasting back around. It's just not going to happen. So,
not if you run out in the tunnel turn, you might. Anything before that, you're in trouble.
So here we set up. Lap 26 to go back green. It'll be 6 laps on the stint for a lot of these cars. And with the pace laps, it's going to put them very close to that window to run it out to the very end. But here we go with Philip Willis back to the lead. Hennings on the outside. Lyon, Charles, Key, top 5. Tricky triangle. Race 5 back underway.
They stacked up a little at the back again, but everyone got away without crashing. Willis got the lead from Hennings, not having to go side by side into turn number 1 this time.
Pulled it up there on the outside, and Thought maybe Hennings was going to get a run, but kind of short shoots on that tunnel turn. There's some side-by-side outside the top 10. 13th position, Frank Chavez, Benjamin Richards, Teresa Spiker in this battle as well as they come off at turn 3.
And Richards just not quite able to clear the 23 of Chavez. And it's really, like you said, the first side-by-side battle. Thought Hennings might have a run into the tunnel turn, a last lap, but I think he lost sight of where the corner entry was. Very easy to do in these cars. You can't really see through them that well. So if you miss the entry of the corner, you're giving up a lot of time. Oh, car in the wall in turn 1. I think it was Spiker.
Teresa Spiker tags the outside wall, overshoots the entry to turn 1 a little bit here.
Keeps it straight, not much damage. And Charles really heavily defended Christian Key into the tunnel
the apron.
turn. It can work, but that's a lot of apron to take up.
You can use the left front on that apron in turn 2. I've tagged it a couple times. It does help the car. But I don't know if I drive all 4 tires down here.
I watched this at the front, though. Brian Henning just got a big shove. I thought he was going to go for the lead there. Maybe he is trying to save fuel because he had a huge run on Philip Willis courtesy of the push from Jason Lyon, but just decided to lift out of it and stay in line.
Jason Lyon very aggressive here. He sees the 2 in the top 2 for the points here. And a lot of conversations with Jason Lyon. He feels like he should be performing better week to week in this Pimax number 12. Best finish last week in Iowa. I believe it was an 8th place finish.
Could have been better, though, and has been pretty aggressive today. I've seen a lot of aggressive moves from him so far, and you know, you kind of need that aggression to come out when you think you're in a slump and need to get positions and get better finishes. So today could be the day.
Watching the battle for the lead now. Hennings to the outside. Who blinks first?
Yeah, I don't really like this move. I think Willis was better off giving up the inside if he wanted to keep the lead. He just lets Hennings get a huge run off of turn number 1, and he's going to get the lead. Could be by design. Could be letting him by, maybe trying to save fuel. Just have to wait and see.
Absolutely could be by design. The strategy and the chess game that you play in racing. You know, a lot of people equate racing to just dumb rednecks, but there's a lot to think about. And when you're doing it on iRacing, the math, the numbers, the strategy, Connor, you know personally, I know personally, there's so much to think about during a race. And when you throw caution into the mix, all those strategies, you got to rethink everything on the fly while going 190 miles per hour down the front stretch.
And usually get a crew chief to do that thinking for you, but iRacing, it's all you. You are the crew chief unless you have someone designated for you, but usually not the case. You're thinking for yourself. There's so much that goes into it. You usually see at Talladega or Daytona, you will see drivers not lead the race intentionally to stay in the draft and save fuel. If you've ever seen a fuel race at Talladega, then you'll have the leader backing up the field going at a slower pace, but there's no fuel saving here going side by side in the tunnel turn.
That's where you said, that's not where I want to be side by side. Hennings did it well, though. Pinched a little bit, hit early on the brakes, and held that outside line. Holds off Philip Willis to the 2nd position. Jason Lyon heavy on the tail. That on the back porch, coming off of turn 2 into turn 3. Car in the wall in the background. It's Christian Key in 7th.
I think that all rhymes somehow, so that was pretty cool. But I am interested in what the strategies are for the top 4. I thought Willis was getting in line to maybe save fuel in the draft compared to Hennings, but then he went for the move and probably the worst part of the track to try to make a pass. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe these drivers can make it and fuel's not an issue, which is why would kind of assume why that's why we didn't see that many drivers end up coming down topping off and they ended up staying out. So if they think they can make it, they're going to battle to the end. But at 5 to 33, you have to back up entry tunnel turn and then maybe try to back up entry or 3. You need to get the run down to longer straightaways. At a tunnel turn, not quite where to do it is. Looks like Renee Haas got the wall.
Off of turn 2. Tag the wall. It's going to bleed a couple positions here. Frank Chavez to the inside. Ed Fiedler is caught up. Mike Howerton, Wade Palmer went by out of that exit. And Mike Howerton, man, what a tough break for him. Started up at 3rd position, got that damage, has the fast repair, but now outside looking in is trying to recover this race.
And not able to stay with the lead line. The lead line's about 9 cars right now, and while he's made up a lot of ground to get back up to 12th, that pack of 9 cars, that line getting away as they're side by side for the lead, and Jason Lyon decides to go with Brian Hennings, gave the 74 the advantage into the tunnel turn with that push, but he's got a big run, just can't quite hold it on corner exit. Here comes Dan Charles. It's 4 cars under a blanket for the lead.
Side by side, 2 rows deep into turn 3. Philip Willis to the bottom. This is the advantage of turn 3. If the 74 keeps it off the wall, 96 almost makes contact with the 12. Top 3 still within a half a second.
If Philip Willis is going to make that pass, he needs that push from Jason Lyon. I was almost expecting Lyon to go 3 wide as he almost hit Philip Willis, really lit up the rear tires. Now he's going to lose those top 2 for the time being. Lets Willis and Hennings get away and battle amongst themselves. But if Willis is going to make that pass, Jason Lyon's a key part of that pass being made. If he pushed the 33 by there, it might have been a done deal right there, but he decided to push Brian Hennings.
There's some tight racing all over this racetrack. You can go back here to Ed Fiedler, who's running behind Renee Hasp, but Fiedler gets tight out of the tunnel turn. You've also got Howerton dodging and weaving around for 11th position, trying to get around Julian Conde.
And the 12-car line had a great tunnel turn while Philip Willis kind of made a mistake, got too much of the apron. Now Jason Lyon's up to that 2nd position. Well, they're still going to battle for this spot. This might let Hennings get out of draft range. He's pretty far out there. Wow, Willis really sends it into these corners.
Crossover,
contact.
Contact. Early to the throttle for the 12.
It was early to the throttle for him and late to the brakes for Willis, but it works in turns 1 and 3 since he's been doing it. But I think he's given up a lot on corner exit by doing that. It's exactly what Brian Hennings wants to see in his mirror.
And there's the aero tight we were talking about. Early entry to the corner. You're going to back that entry up a little bit if you want that opportunity. Man, he is sliding it into turn 3. I'm telling you, it's driving me insane. I talked to Jason several times about how to drive the line around this place, and he is overdriving this car.
You're saying he's not taking your advice? You should talk to him about that. But he got a little bit of a touch from Dan Charles into the corner last time by, and Charles has got Christian Key all over his bumper. And that battle is 96 really missed turn 1 there, so there goes Christian Key right on by. The way these guys are racing, you assume everyone's got to make it on fuel. No one's really trying to save anything right now.
If they're good to go, we don't know. It's going to be in a weird spot. It's going to be based off of the driver behind the wheel. How heavy is that right foot coming into the closing laps as we are coming up on 10 laps to go from Pocono. Race 5. Brian Hennings, your points leader. He has 1 win on the season. Philip Willis trailing in 2nd spot. The 2 dominants of this season, 8 points apart. Hennings looking for his 2nd win to tie Willis with 10 to go.
Yeah, and Willis didn't really gain much that lap. I'm kind of surprised. Contact Dan Charles and John Hudson, but I'm surprised that Hennings isn't really breaking the draft more than he is. He actually hit the wall out of turn 1, let Willis really close in. Not quite close enough. Oh, crash. Turn 1, way at the back. Wade Palmer has crashed hard in turn number 1, and he got hit again. Kenneth Blackburn piled in, and this changes a lot.
This is going to reset the field with around 7 to go when we restart, but there's the pile in from, say, Kenneth Blackburn in the 155. But here's the contact between him, and that's Conde, I believe.
Yeah, that was Julian Conde.
That is Palmer on Palmer Prime.
Ooh. And that a hit to the right front pretty much did the 43A. And Conde just kind of slides up the track off that yellow line, gets into Palmer, and Palmer gets more contact, overcorrects hard in the outside wall, and Blackburn's just trying to find which way the 43 was going, and he guessed wrong. Sure, Conde will be getting words for that.
He's on board with the 18.
See how this develops. Looks to the inside, kind of a late dive into the corner. If you're going to dive late into the corner, you better hold it to the bottom, and he certainly didn't.
It's going to take a lot of brake to keep it down there.
Yeah, just like you said, not you said, I said it, but late move into turn number 1, kind of looked to the inside late, then dove to the inside late and just washed up out of the corner. Seen a lot of times at Pocono in turn 1, even before they repaved this track, we've seen that. It's just kind of a characteristic of that corner. If you enter a little bit too hot, you're going to slide up the racetrack.
Back to our live shot. This sets us up for another round of pit stops. Who's going to take the gamble? Who's going to take track position? I think we'll save enough fuel to make it to the end of this race. But who's going to commit to that? I think if you're the leader, you're going to make the wrong choice either way.
These two have been pretty much the two best cars all race and all season. If I'm Jason Lyon, I'm doing what they don't. And if they do different things, I'd rather have the tires. I would think 2 tires might win this race. You might even see drivers stay out and get a good finish, but I would not be surprised to see 2 tires win this race. It looks like everyone's coming to pit, though. Not much strategy. There goes Mike Chivers. He will stay out. Looks like Rene Haas will stay out, but who takes 2 is the question.
So the 5 of Shivers will stay out. Rene Hasp in the 38. But it's Brian Hennings leading him down pit road. He had the lead, hits his stall perfectly.
Willis had to back up.
That's going to lose him some time.
Does he audible to 2 tires? He might have to at this point. He did not. Yes, he
He
did.
did. That's a call.
Christian Key 2 tires. Jason Lyon 2 tires. Mike Howerton got out before Brian Hennings, and he took also 2 tires. So a lot of 2-tire calls.
A lot of 2-tire calls and no tire calls for the front 2 when we come back. Here we go. For race number 5, setting up to be a good one. You are watching the VRX 2025 World Cup presented by Moza, Butt Kicker, Pimax, and Superior Performance. Back with more on V-Speed in just a moment.
Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Gonna be a good one. Restarting 6 laps to go. Mike Chivers is the leader in the 5 car. He did not pit, along with Renee Hasp, Doug Helfer, Chase Rockford. Philip Willis was the first driver on 2 tires, and then Christian Key, Jason Lyon, Mike Howerton all took 2 tires. Brian Hennings, the first driver on 4 tires as we come back to green with 6 laps to go.
Pace car is going to move out of the way. 5th time today we've seen that pace car take a left. Green flag. And it's just under 10 laps to go. 6 laps. As Shivers into turn 1 has a handful, and we've got contact in the background. The 12 of Lions into the wall.
Oh
Big
my
crash
God.
into turn 1.
Parking lot. VIP 96, 818. David Collins in it again. Fiedler, Conde. Wow, what a mess that was.
And the 12 might have to tow it to pit road. I don't know if he's going to lose time if he can't drive that car.
That thing's done. There's a lot of drivers that are going to be done. That was wild. They didn't even make it to turn 1 before the driver started getting turned. There was madness even behind them.
That puts us into overtime territory.
I mean, there was already kind of a messy restart. Line kind of has, that looked like Hennings on his bumper. 3 to the inside. Hennings looks to the middle. Then things kind of stack up, and right there, when he lifts off the gas because of the stack up in front of him, a leader went into the grass. Didn't even see that at first, but when he lifts out of the gas because of the stack up, Hennings can't react in time, gets into the back of the 74. That puts him right into the path of John Hudson and just turns him into the worst angle possible into the wall. And that was an ugly hit. Oh, man. And it sent him right back into traffic, collected 5, 6 other cars, and couldn't really make out why the 5 of Chivers missed the corner, but he did keep the lead through that.
Thankfully, the caution came out where it did.
Oh, he got the move. Yeah, he got the move from Doug Helfer. It just created chaos into turn 1 if there wasn't a caution flag. The 71 almost got a huge gift. Chase Rockford almost got the lead, but the yellow came out just in time for the 5 to keep the lead. It looks like Renee Hasp has gotten second out of that. They almost got the lead. The 33 on 2 tires almost got the lead. You can see him come through there thinking he's the leader, but not quite. What a mess.
Yeah, we're going to go back here on board with Brian Hennings.
I mean, we're all stacked up. Once again, you can't really see through these cars, and this is a roof cam, so even still, you can't see what's really happening. Look to the middle, not there. And right there, the 12 lifts, and he just can't react in time. Had John Hudson not been looking 3 wide, there's probably nothing wrong and nothing happens, but Hudson was there looking. It was just bad timing on all fronts, and it took out a lot of good race cars. Lions out of it. He ran top 5. The 96 was running really well. He's got a lot of damage.
And there is the Devil 707.
Yeah, he couldn't get out of anyone's way tonight, unfortunately. He couldn't get out of anyone's mess, I should say. I mean, he got caught up in so many other people's mistakes, and that's how racing goes sometimes. I don't know if I haven't seen many wrecks bigger at Pocono. There was one, and I believe I don't remember which area series it was, but in a league that I watched and ran, I mean, down out of turn 1, I mean, we probably wrecked at least 20, 25 cars in one race. But it wasn't as violent, although I think there was a flip in that wreck, but that wreck was just violent. I hope we never see someone in the real world hit that angle of that wall like Jason Lyon did. I mean, that was horrific.
Jason Lyon's going to end up 2 laps down because of that situation. Had to tow to pit road. Probably still has a fast repair, but Connor, you could back me up on this. When you have to tow to pit road, it calculates the amount of time in real life that it would take to hook up a tow truck, pull you around the racetrack, and it's whatever distance to pit road to get you back to your stall. You lose a lot of time.
It's almost better if you could just drive in reverse, but obviously the game, I don't believe, will let you do that before disqualifying you. Yeah, just not much you can do. Usually it takes an eternity. I think it's usually a little longer than it would be, but you know, not much you can do at that point, as
We're going to get a natural green-white checker.
Yeah, this won't be an attempt, so this will, I guess, technically 1 of 3 as Dan Charles gets the faster pair. He's back on track. Jason Lyon will get the faster pair. Charles is actually able to drive his car around and at least stay lead lap, I believe. Jason Lyon going to elect not to get back on the racetrack and end his race. And really, the second retirement from the race, but he'll finish dead last 23rd, most likely. David Collins will also probably not get back in this race.
So Jason Lyon, an early exit after contact. The checkup, late race restart. We're going to have another one with Shivers, Hasp, Willis, Helfer, Rockford, the top 5. Dane Shivers in the 6th position. Christian Key, Brian Hennings. We've got a lot of 2 tires and no tires up here in the top 10. With the 4 tire calls with Hennings in 8th position. Mike Howerton on 2 tires. A lot of mixes here. But Renee Hasp is 23 lap old tires. Can he do anything with it? We're talking about probably close to a second of fall off here. And these drivers have to hold off for another 5 miles.
I don't know who's in the best spot because Willis has the tires, but I don't like him being on the outside here.
It all comes down to this for race number 5. The strategy calls at Pocono. Green flag back underway. 5 miles to go with Mike Shivers into turn 1.
Much better restart for Chivers. 5 car got away from Renee Hasp and Doug Helfer. Did not get through the gear as well. This is actually better for Willis. Much more spread out at the front. Can use those 2 tires to his advantage.
Mike Shivers gets a good exit off of turn 1. A lot happening in the background. 3 wide on Long Pond.
Mike Howerton to the outside. Not where you want to be in the tunnel turn.
They clear it. 71 of Chase Rockford falls out, but 74 Hennings into the wall. Contact.
Oh, look out. Inside
Edgerton.
wall. That was Chase Rockford, the inside wall. Shiver still has the lead. 33. Willis looking to the inside of Renee Hasp for second. It looks like they might get to the white flag, and the battle's for second. This is huge for the 5 for them to be side by side right now, but Willis is going to clear.
Mike Shivers takes the white flag. The 64 of Doug Helfer gonna look to the inside of Hasp. But Philip Willis, who dominated this race, he's about half a second away as the 5 car off of turn 1 gets really tight.
They almost wrecked at the back. Shivers just needs 2 more good corners. It's going to be hard for Willis to do anything in the dirty air in the tunnel turn if he could just maintain the bottom of the racetrack.
He's got a big run here.
Oh, he's over it in deep. Howerton sideways. Oh, he checked up way too much. Willis, he had to get out of the gas. He checked up so much. Mike Howerton's crashing in the background, but Willis got to the inside.
And now we're going to go 3 wide for the lead. Way out wide into 3.
Hennings.
Hennings up the middle. To the outside, Philip Willis is going to get it. His 3rd victory of the season.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable finish. How in the world did he get there? Oh, what a heartbreaker for Mike Chivers.
He's going to end up with 5th position out of this. But the tires just weren't there, Connor. I mean, your 20-lap-old tires, that is a lot to ask.
He didn't have the tires, but he checked up the tunnel turn so much, he almost got crashed into by the 33. I don't think he meant to check it up that much. Wade Palmer, sorry, Wade Palmer getting retaliation on the 18. Not very happy about the crash they had, but unbelievable finish. Wild, wild stuff.
I think the 18 is chasing him down pit road right now.
Oh, he got him back. He sure did. There's a lot of post-race contact in this series, isn't there?
Uh-huh.
There was cars everywhere out of turn number 2. I mean, that was unbelievable.
Post-race interviews with your top three and those final race results for race number 5. Philip Willis, 3-time winner now in the 2025 VRX World Cup. More coverage continues in just a moment.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Welcome back to our post-race coverage. VRX Simulators 2025 World Cup. Race number 5 at Pocono has concluded. It went as scheduled. 45 laps with a natural green-white checkered. And the dominant driver of the day finds his 3rd win of the season. It's going to be Philip Willis. After 6 cautions, 5 lead changes, I think is what we finished out with here tonight. Yeah, 5 cautions, 5 lead changes. I was close. I tried to keep the tally marks here, Connor, but I'll tell you, the dominant car of the day found its way back to the lead. And it wasn't without merit. There was a lot happening there on that final restart.
Yeah, I mean, we saw so much happen. We saw the crash out of turn 2. I believe Christian Key was in it. I believe Mike Howerton was in it, and there was even more than that. We saw the crashes after the line. Wade Palmer not happy with Julian Conde, so that will certainly be settled in the weeks coming. But a crazy, crazy race and a lead change on the final lap, probably for the first time this season. Almost. Probably the 2nd time this season, including Daytona.
Ryan Hennings will come home in 2nd position. Renee Hasp, the only driver without tires there, holds on to the 3rd spot. We'll get a word with those drivers in just a moment's time. Doug Helfer in the 4th position with Mike Shivers holding on for 5th. I mean, really and truly, for Shivers, that was a great call. I mean, he started 14th. He was running around the 14th position most of the night. So, top 5. Fantastic job. Benjamin Richards going to get a top 10. He'll finish in 6th. Wade Palmer, a lot of contact there between him and Julian Conde at the tail end of this race. Maybe drivers not appreciating each other's antics. John Hudson was just in the middle of all this. He's happy to come home in 8th. Conde in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 is Anthony Edgerton.
A lot of drivers who finished up there after having some pretty big crashes, especially Wade Palmer. I mean, we saw him in the wall hard, but he came back with that faster pair. Edward Fiedler 11th, Frank Chavez 12th, Dan Charles 13th. Charles got that faster pair late, at least got something out of the race. Kelly Walton, the 818, finished in the 14th position. Teresa Spiker, 15th position for her. Chase Rockford, 16th. Might have been one of those drivers who got involved in some incidents. He had no tires. Jerry Conley, 17th. Christian Key, who was in that last lap crash, 18th. Kenneth Blackburn, 19th. And Dane Shivers in the 20th position. Shivers, excuse me.
Then you go back to Howerton, who got late race and sideways. 51's going to finish in 21st. David Collins in 22nd. And you saw just prior to that last restart with Jason Lyon to the inside wall in turn 1. He's going to round out the field in the 23rd position. But now it's time to bring up the top 3 and talk to your race winner. 3rd time this season we've talked to Philip Willis from Victory Lane. And I know this one, it felt like it was in your hands in the first half of this race. We ran it clean and green. You led about 20 laps or so. But then everything started to change, and it all started to fall apart. And Philip, I know on that last restart, 2 tires was the call, but you had 4 tires around you, had no tires around you, and you had to navigate a lot of contact there in the tunnel turn.
Yeah, I think 2 tires was definitely the move of the race tonight on that last stop. Track position here is everything. This car was super tight tonight, so the traffic was pretty close all night. There was a lot of good runs tonight, and it was just tough racing.
You go back to the beginning of this race and the contrast that you had in the second half. Run us through that last restart. You had the 5 of Mike Shivers on no tires. You had Brian Hennings behind you on 4 fresh ones. You made the call to take 2. How do you calculate all of the things happening there at the tail end of this race?
You don't. You try to keep your nose clean, and my whole thought process on that restart was I was going to try to push Renee as far forward as I possibly could to try to prevail that outside line going into turn 1. I didn't quite know how that was going to hold with 2 tires, but it held up there at the tail end. The 5 car was threw a good block on me, and I don't know if y'all saw or not, but I had to pretty much hit the brakes to keep from rear-ending anymore. We both would have lost it, but I was able to still somewhat get a good run on that inside. I was going to protect that inside as soon as I had the nose to that left-hand side as much as I could. But I did not know Brown was on me like crazy coming around off of turn 3. I did not expect to see him in the rearview mirror. So, but yeah, it was tough racing, and luckily we were able to pull it off coming out of turn 3.
Third win on the season. Congratulations, Philip. I know this chips away slightly at that points lead that Brian Hennings has had, and he keeps his top 10 streak alive. You had one bad race, and that's what it is right there, is you had that one little off week, and 8 points coming into tonight, now going to chip down with the most laps led. Man, it's getting tighter and tighter all the way to race 12.
Well, it's funny is everybody on the VRX team is saying we got to stop me, but I'm sitting there trying to remind them, say, look, I'm not leading the points in this deal. We got to stop Brian Hennings. He's the one that's leading this thing, and he still manages to find the top, I forget top 10. How about top 3 almost every week? I mean, he is digging every single week, and he's hard to catch, and he's fast at everywhere he goes. So it's been fun trying to race these guys, but it's really a fun World Cup to be involved with. These guys are good, and it's tough to race with them. And I'm sweating tonight. I've been sweating every week ever since race 1's kicked off. So it's fun to get out here and run with these guys and ladies.
You don't have to sweat it anymore. You found your way to victory lane, third time this season. Philip Willis, I know you have a lot of people backing you up, probably in the chat. Go ahead and shout them out.
Well, first of all, I got to give a hearts out to the Spikers this weekend. This week. They lost their mother and mother-in-law, Joanne Spiker. So my heart goes out to the Spikers this week. I know it's tough losing a loved one, and I wish them the best, and prayers go out to them and their family. I do want to thank VRX Simulators. I can't say enough of what this is like. This has been a really fun series to run, and I can't thank them enough for inviting me to run it. I do want to thank the sponsors of this series: VRX Simulators, Bud Kicker, Pimax, Monza Racing, Superior Performance, and of course V-Speed. You guys putting on these replays and these broadcasts every week. It is really fun to go back and watch this. And I do want to give a shout out to the Publix team. If any of them's watching, this is pretty cool to watch, and I'm glad that they're able to show up and give the support out. But can't thank Publix enough. I've been working with them for 21 years, so they're treating me well, and I've got good family and friends supporting me. So I can't thank everybody enough.
Well, we appreciate you coming up here and talking to us, Philip, and I'm sure next week at Talladega, you'll just be thankful to finish the race. I mean, that track is going to be a wild card, to say the least. But
I don't run like that, man. I run hard everywhere I go. So, I mean, it is what it is. You're not going to see me lay back. I dig as hard as anybody else is out there. So all I ask for is a good, clean racing. And I think we've been doing that. And I hope I'm racing everybody else as clean as I possibly can be. And we're just going to keep digging after it.
Well said. We'll see you next week. Or
all right,
2
guys,
weeks.
Thank you. Yeah, 2 weeks. And yes, have a happy Thanksgiving to everybody that's listening, everybody that's in this World Cup racing. I do wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and same to y'all there at V-Speed.
Appreciate it. Philip Willis, race winner at the Tricky Triangle. He led 27 laps from the pole. He'll become victorious to lead that last one. We're going to move on to our second place finisher. Connor Horn has caught up with Mr. Consistency, still maintaining the points lead. 74, Brian Hennings.
Yeah, I do have Brian Hennings. He only led 9 laps. It didn't really tell the whole story. You were at the front the entire time, Brian. Then we got the yellow late race restart, different strategies. You ended up taking 4 tires, and then we obviously had the first restart. Then we had to get to the second one. You restarted the final restart at 8th, and you got to the bumper of Willis, just couldn't quite get by him. What more did you need to do on that last restart to have a shot at him?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I looked at the pit times and could tell, with their 8-second stops, they had to have taken 2. I mean, I don't know if that was the call, but also I'm going to put this up to a vote from pretty much everybody that was in the race. I told them to stand by after this interview because it may be premature. I'd like everyone's input on that wreck there with Nitro and myself on the previous restart. Because I did initiate contact there with Mr. Jason Lyon. So I do think he would have saved it, but then Hudson cleaned him out. So I don't know. I might end up getting EOL from all this. They haven't made the call yet. They said that we'd talk about it after the race. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, kudos to Phil. He put on another great race. I was wondering why he basically let me by there for a little bit. That's how I got the lead. I mean, I could totally tell he lifted. I think that was because he was saving fuel at that time, but then that went out the window with the other stop. I don't know. All around great race. Good win for Phil.
Yeah, definitely a good one for Phil. You were so close. You got to the bumper. You got past the drivers on no tires, and most of the drivers on 2 tires. You got close in 3. What more did you need to do on the laps prior and the turns prior to maybe have a shot to be getting alongside him in that final corner instead?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it was kind of crazy there, hectic with the natural green white, and yeah, I got there. I think about the only other thing I could have done different was that chaotic coming out of 3. If I would have maybe not lifted a little bit more and just tried to plow and get some more speed out of 3, I might have been able to pull up next to him, side draft him, slow him down. It just didn't happen. So, hey, good race for the 33 again.
Another good race for him. Good race for you. You'll stay pretty tight in the points with each other. How tough of a race was this? You obviously didn't get put in dirty air for a long period of time, and you didn't get put further back in the field, really. But it definitely looked like a lot of drivers are struggling with dirty air, but then the draft would kind of pull some drivers back. How is it from your point of view?
It's fun. I still haven't completely mastered good old POCONO. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you can get arrow loose if you know, or arrow tight if you know you're too close to a guy. You can't make the turn just right, and as you know, all 3 turns are just slightly different depending on how you take them. And I think I'm finally starting to figure out, go in slow, come out faster. I've been getting better on turn 1. Yeah, it's a fun track, but it's momentum based, kind of like the trucks. And if you come out of those turns wrong, it's easy to pass somebody or get past. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely a tough track, but a fun race for us and a good race for you on the P2 for you. So congrats on that. Anyone else you want to thank or shout out?
Just you guys here, V Speed, Bradley. Can't wait to go back to listen to what you said for Grandma Spiker. This one's basically for Joanne and the whole Spiker family. We love you guys, and sorry for the loss of Grandma Spiker. That's about it for tonight, guys.
Yeah, definitely a good race for you, and obviously a tough race for a lot of drivers in VRX. But congrats on a good finish, regardless. Brian, thanks for talking to us, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time.
Thanks, Connor. Have a good Thanksgiving.
You as well.
Brian Hennig's second place finisher here tonight at the Tricky Triangle, and POCONO, as it's become known as on V Speed. There's one more driver, and I'm going to tread lightly. I'm not really sure what he's going to say, what he's going to do, but it's Renee Hasp in the 3rd place here tonight with no tires to finish this race off. You made the call, got yourself on the front row. I mean, you held on to it. That's all you could do was hold on. And the chaos around you, you made the best of it. Congratulations on a podium finish here.
Well, I don't know how we got up there. I just want to thank my crew chief, Daniel. He just did an excellent job. The team just did an amazing job tonight with the tires. We were strong. This lean green Chevy Monster machine got to the 3rd place finish, and I'm just grateful. Just want to say thank you to VRX, Brian Hennings Racing, for letting me go through their driver development program. Greg, my heart goes out to you, and Teresa. I'm so sad about today, and David, John, Eddie, thank you for everything. And today was a amazing race. Towards the end, Bradley, you're 100% right. I just held on to it. We saw our competition with brand new tires try to get out of their way, try to race clean. and we got there. So I'm totally excited. And if I can say one thing, um, to my partner and very, very intimate lover. And when I say lover, I mean he has my heart, my body, and my mind in his pocket. Nitro, we did it, baby. 3rd place. I can't wait to bring this trophy to our bedroom and perform on it with you. I love you. You're everything to me. We did it, baby. Woo! Next week, back to 2nd place.
Well, I said I was going to tread lightly, Connor. So here we are. Renee Hasp, you already thanked everybody you needed to thank, and this interview went exactly the way I thought it would. Congratulations on a podium finish. I regret asking you this. Is there anyone else you have to shout out?
Yeah, just V-Speed for putting on a great broadcast, and all the fans out there watching this. Thank you for supporting everyone. And again, moment of silence for what happened today. It's just Joanne Grandma Spiker, 92 years old. She's no longer with us, but she's in our heart, and she was definitely with all of us and watching over us with all the wrecks and everyone being safe. So God bless the Spiker family.
Renee Hasp in the 38, 3rd place here tonight. We will see you in 2 weeks' time. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Whoosh!
Well, I said it. I said it before I got here, Connor. That one's probably going to end up being a YouTube short.
Yeah, that'll definitely be making the rounds, to say the least.
Well, now that we're back to our composure here at this point, we have another race to talk about 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, 2
I
weeks
have the
time.
date wrong. I have the date wrong. It's not going to be December. Well, it is December 4th. Hey, I got
It is
the date
December
right.
4th.
Hey,
You
I
did
got
get the
it.
date right.
All right, there we go. I said, hey, there's this thing that we do on the Thursday, the last week in November every year. So then we're going to go to December 4th for race number 6. It's Talladega Super Speedway. Man, I can't get my composure after that one. Connor, you're just going to have to carry this one, buddy.
Yeah, I'll try my best. You still have to do the outro, so get yourself together for that. But Talladega should be a fun one, especially with the tight points battles. The last super speedway race of the year. The only, well, that's not true actually. We do go to Daytona one more time, but our only race at Talladega, 50 lappers, should be exciting. I didn't really get to see what happened at Daytona. We saw craziness. We saw Christian Key take the checkered flag. This is pretty much right at the midway point. This is the halfway point. After race 6, we're halfway through the season. Should be a pretty fun championship battle. Hennings and it looks like Philip Willis. They're the two to beat right now. Everyone behind him. Dan Charles was close in points. He's not quite able to keep pace after a not as great of a finish tonight. So those top two, the 33, 74, those are drivers we're going to have to be watching the second half of the season. And big race at Talladega. One of these drivers wrecks out. That could be a huge point separation between those top two. So very important race for both drivers.
If you would like tonight's action of the VRX World Cup Series, you can hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race. We have all the way to race number 12 to wrap up this season. It is our 4th time here at V-Speed putting on a VRX World Cup. For everybody here, though, that helped make this possible, we have Moza Racing, Butt Kicker, Climax, and Superior Performance, of course. For everybody at V-Speed that helped make this possible as well, my co-commentator Connor Horn, Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from the Tricky Triangle. 2 weeks' time, we're going to Talladega. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone that tuned in here tonight. So long, and stay tracking, everybody.